For the past couple months, I've been making so much progress with fitness. I got into hybrid training, hit sub-tournament at 5k, started training for high rocks, and everything was going so well. But in that way that life sometimes catches you off guard, apparently things had been going a little too well. I'm injured. I went for a run last week and I kind of tweaked my Achilles. I thought it was fine, so I continued as usual, as you would. Then on Wednesday last week, I went for another run and could not run by the end of said run. So for the last week, I've really not even been able to walk properly, which is not ideal. It's just so frustrating because everything was going so well with training and I was like, yes, what could go wrong? What could go wrong? I'm going to physio today, which hopefully will fix some things. If not, it will just tell me what's wrong with me. Because the annoying thing is, I don't really know what I did. I think it might just be because I'm so new to running and I thought I could push myself harder than my body was actually ready for. I kind of probably just overdid it. This is something that I never thought I would say, but I really miss running. I really miss it. I did not realize how much I enjoyed running until now. I can't do it. Like, there's literally no question I cannot run. And it really just reminded me that we are so blessed to be able to move our bodies and we take things for granted so often until they're gone. Also, one thing that God reminded me of this morning is that even though I'm struggling right now, I am in quite a lot of pain sometimes, God is still king. Jesus is still on the throne and that is all that really matters. So even though life might be a bit rough for me right now, he is still greater, he is still faithful, he still loves me, he still loves you. That being said, I can still train upper body, so I'm gonna head to the gym, we're gonna train upper body, and then I'm gonna hobble back and go to physio. So I was gonna cycle to physio because I found out that cycling is absolutely fine, like doesn't aggravate my Achilles or ankle or whatever, so that has been so good. I've been getting into cycling. There's always a silver lining. Great is your faithfulness to me. After breakfast, I did some coaching client work, mainly doing some form feedback for some videos that my clients had sent through. Then as my pre-workout, I made this sort of blueberry muffin protein cookie dough situation. I put a bit much yogurt in it so it was a bit runny, but it tasted so good. I used the vanilla vegan protein powder from Protein Works, so code SOPHIER to save. My mom actually offered to give me a lift to the gym, so everyone say thank you, mom. And I hate to be that girl, but sadly today we were indeed skipping leg day and training upper body instead. I did start off with some mobility as always, but the range of motion in the Achilles was absolutely horrendous. Thankfully, since I was just training upper body today, I could actually do everything on my plan. And there was also a really sweet moment where I was doing pull-ups / scapular pull-ups between sets, and this guy was watching me, and then he came over and asked if he could try, and it was just so sweet. And I think it's so cool when people push themselves out of their comfort zone and just try new things. That being said, if you've been around a while, you'll know that last year I had a bit of a shoulder injury, and it's still not 100%, so I do have to be careful and use resistance bands for pull-ups and things like that. So we did that and finished off the session with some cable rows. Now, I usually aim to get around 8 to 10k steps in per day, but since I physically can't walk that far now, I've switched my steps to the bike. I've also just found it's been quite helpful to get some blood flow to the Achilles without aggravating it more. So that's another one, I guess. I've made this protein lava cake like every single day for the last 3 months and I'm still obsessed. But after I freshened up and had some lunch, it was time for physio. There was a dog in the physio called Ollie. He was so cute. Ollie the collie. Yeah, we actually used to have a pet collie. She was called Willow and she was my girl. So I do have a soft spot for collies. I didn't film the actual physio itself, but let me cycle back and tell you how it went. Okay, so I've got good news and bad news. Good news is, we know what it is. It is Achilles tendonitis, which is kind of what we thought it was anyway. So that's good. I'm also taped up, so bonus, it feels a bit better now. Had a lovely little massage of the calf to release some tightness, which was good. Bad news, it could take up to 6 to 12 weeks to heal. I think what caused it is just because I've been running on paths that have a bit of a camber quite a lot. So when you're sort of running squint, then obviously you're not running flat, so things can be a bit iffy with the Achilles. So the plan is to slowly work up to strengthening it again with exercises like calf raises, and then on the edge of a step to get a bit more stretch, but gradually build that up over time. And then obviously keep it moving, because if you like just rest, what I've found, right, is when I wake up in the morning, it's usually more stiff and hurts a lot more. So we want to keep it moving, and then use hot and cold as well. And hopefully all of those things will make it fix itself faster. I'm actually going to London in a day's time. Hopefully it's going to be okay for traveling, because I'm getting the train then. If I'm too slow in the changeover between trains, I might miss my second train and I might miss the event that I'm going to. I'm going to take you along to the event though, so put your guesses what it is in the comments. But I am actually stressing out because I don't want to miss that train. So as you do, I jumped straight into doing everything I could to help this Achilles heal as fast as possible. The massage gun actually really helped. I just got it on Amazon, I'll link it in the description. Then the physio also gave me the calf raise variations to do. I'm supposed to work up to doing single leg calf raises, but right now I physically can't. So I ended up doing a variation to focus on the eccentric and really slowing that down. Then of course, as you know, regular mobility work is super important. So I did one of my mobility routines, which you can check out in the playlist there. Don't check it out right now though. Stay on this video. You can check it out later. Okay, I think we can all agree that injuries absolutely suck, but I am feeling a little bit better about it, because previously I was just hobbling around the gym, kind of like meh. But now that I'm taped up, like I feel like a proper athlete with my tape. I have a reason to be injured almost. I know that's really not the best way to look at it, but I feel a bit better now that I've got tape. One of the biggest questions I'm often asked when people are trying to recover from an injury is, what do you do with your nutrition? Because if you're not like moving as much, then obviously you're not burning as many calories. So do you just eat the same, or do you need to sort of compensate to make up with that? And like a lot of these things, the answer really depends on your goals, because if your goal is to gain weight and build muscle, then it could be beneficial just to keep eating the calories that you were previously eating. Or if you're in a calorie deficit for fat loss, then you might just stay on those calories to continue your fat loss efforts. So starting with fat loss specifically, there are a few things that you need to keep in mind, because if you're not able to lift as you usually would in the gym, then that's going to make it a lot harder for you to hang on to your muscle mass. And when you're in a calorie deficit, we know that your body's going to pull energy from somewhere, so that's either going to be from your fat or your muscle. So ideally, we don't want to be in too much of a calorie deficit if that is your goal when you're injured, because if you're not able to do resistance training, then it could be more likely that your body starts to pull energy from your muscle. So what I would often recommend is actually just to eat at your maintenance calories for this little season, because that way you're not going to be gaining weight, you're not going to be losing weight, you can just sort of maintain, and you'll still be supplying your body with enough of the materials it needs to maintain your muscle mass. Yes, obviously if you can't train a certain muscle group, like for me, lower body is going to be lacking a little bit for the next few weeks, then your muscle is more likely to atrophy. However, this is not the end of the world. I want you to get this in your head right now. Even if you lose muscle in this little season, once you're fully recovered, muscle memory is a beautiful thing. So when you get back in the gym, it's going to take a lot less time for you to get back to the amount of muscle mass that you were at than it did for you to build that in the first place. It's frustrating, I know, I literally know. But the best thing we can do is not draw out the process and just focus on recovery now, because that is going to make you heal faster, you're going to be able to get back in the gym faster, and be able to start making progress again faster. I guess it's kind of like delayed gratification, especially if you love the gym, because you want to hit the gym, you want to push it hard, but you can't right now because you got to focus on recovery. So it's just pushing that off and waiting for the point where you are able to hit the gym hard and really just get back at it. That is where we're at. That is my advice. It's the advice I need to take as well, because sometimes as a coach, I can give out the best advice possible. Then when it comes to me, I'm like, should I do this? I want to hit the gym. But yeah, I'm going to take my own advice and take it easy for the next few weeks. If you do want more help on your fitness journey, by the way, I do have more one-to-one coaching spaces available, so I'll put the link to apply in the description. But we have a big day tomorrow. I had to set my alarm early. This was actually so painful, but good morning, if you can call it morning. I guess it is morning. I strangely felt a lot more refreshed than I thought I would. I think it was because of my sunrise alarm, but I had 30 minutes before I had to leave the house, so I quickly did my skincare, got ready for the day. I never really wear much makeup, but the one thing I do wear every day is mascara. I just feel like I don't feel awake until I'm wearing it. I don't know if anyone else feels the same way. And this is the fit. Tops from GYMSHARK, jeans are from FITJEANS. These are honestly the best jeans I've ever found. Like, I did not used to wear jeans because I hated the way that they felt, but these have a little bit of stretch. They're not like stiff denim. I don't know how to describe it, but they're so good. They don't have a waist gap either, which is ideal because I could never find jeans that actually fitted right. This video is not sponsored, by the way, but if you do want to try FITJEANS, use code SOPHIEREID and you'll get a discount. It feels illegal to leave the house before 5 a.m. I don't know how people do this on a regular basis. I had some time before my train, so I decided to get some steps in, even though they're very slow, hobbly steps. I was going to be on the train a while, so I needed some movement. Look how pretty the sunrise is. We made it on the train. It still feels illegal to be out the house this early, but it is so beautiful. I'm so glad this is actually an early train because I'm never up this time, ever. But I think now I can finally tell you where we're going. Drumroll please. We are going to Spotify headquarters in London. Is 10 hours on the train going to be worth it? It better be. But yeah, this morning when I woke up, I jumped out of bed to try and turn my alarm off because I didn't want to wake anyone else up. But my Achilles gets more stiff overnight, so as soon as I stepped out of bed, I was like... And then I was just hobbling around the house trying to get ready before the Uber came. Oh, need to check my ticket. Okay, I am all ready. My ticket's been checked and I am so excited to try my overnight oats. It's blueberry muffin overnight oats. I've made a little short about it, so go check that out. But I'm beyond excited. I've just been looking at it and I still think it is way too early to have breakfast. It's not even 6 o'clock yet and I usually have breakfast around 9:30, so I think it's too early, but no, I'm gonna have to wait. Another advantage of traveling this early is that I basically had the entire carriage all to myself. Well, except that one guy, but you know. And I know this is a little deep for 6 in the morning, but being on this train truly reminded me of just how blessed we are to be alive. Those blueberry muffin overnight oats were really staring me down, but I was not gonna give in that easily. Since I'm never usually up this early, I wanted to do what I could to keep my circadian rhythm and energy levels a bit more consistent, so I decided to wait until closer to the time I usually have breakfast before trying my oats. Not gonna lie, I think this is one of, if not the most beautiful train ride I've ever been on. The scenery was so varied, I got to see the sunrise, plus some lovely looking oats. And at one point, it literally looked like we were flying through clouds. Yeah, I was high-key freaking out about how cool this was. 6:58. That's a reasonable enough time to have breakfast, right? I'd been so excited for these oats since last night and finally, thank you Jesus. Okay, these were actually fire. Definitely worth the wait. And then the thing that I'd been dreading happened. The train was delayed. Sitting at a standstill somewhere between York and London was not ideal because I had a second train to catch and if I missed it, then I would be late for the event. Might miss the start entirely. Will they even let me in? Yay, we were moving again. 28 minutes later. I had no idea if I was going to make the next train, especially since having an injured Achilles means I'm not exactly speedy Sophie anymore. So basically, running to catch the train is out the question. Really, all I could do at this point is pray for a miracle because I had no clue what was going to happen. Turns out, praying for a miracle worked because the underground trains were also delayed. However, this is where I kind of messed up because I went to the wrong line. Oops. Yeah, so apparently the line on the map doesn't actually get you where you want to go. You got to get on a different line to be able to join the line that then goes where I wanted to be. London Underground's confusing, bro. So after a little bit of stress, a lot of hobbling, we arrived at Spotify HQ. That is a sentence I never thought I'd say in my entire life, but we walked in and were completely blown away at all the decor. Just the vibes of Spotify are absolutely insane. Kind of what you'd expect for Spotify, really. But they had everything down to like even the tiny details of the room and the plants and the wallpaper. This was a Grow with Spotify event where there was 40 other podcasters. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, I have a podcast. These were all the creators that were there. That ginger girl looks so familiar. I'm going to subscribe. But after some initial presentations and learning about some new features that Spotify is bringing out, we got some bagels. I chose a smoked salmon and cream cheese bagel. I wasn't really sure about this to begin with, but it was alright. I think just the smoked salmon texture threw me off. And one of the most lovely little touches, since it was a Grow with Spotify event, everyone got their own houseplant to take home with them. I did have to take mine home on the train, but I have a challenge for you. I want you to name this plant. So drop all of your names in the comments and I'll be choosing the best one and let you know in the next video. So I hope you've enjoyed this little vlog. I know it's a bit different to what I usually do, but let me know if you enjoy this type of content and YouTube thinks that you'll love this video next. Love you so much and I'll see you there. Bye.